reboots. They seem like all the rage these days. Sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. In the case of Tomb Raider, the reboot works. Now truth be told, I haven't played a Tomb Raider game in a very long time. The last Tomb Raider game I played wasn't even a full game, it was the Tomb Raider 2 demo, back before the game even came out. So I'm not the person to talk to about if the series was getting stale or not. But what I can tell you is this is one hell of a fun game. The game begins with Laura trying to escape a sinking ship. And man does she have it rough. All her friends seem to get out pretty easily. She ends up on an island, where she's then captured by some crazy people living on the island. Oh hey, and did I already mention that Laura really has it rough? Tomb Raider is an origin story, showing how Lara Croft becomes such a badass. And one of the great things about the story in this game is how Lara's character gets tougher slowly as the game goes on. At the beginning of the game, she has trouble cutting open a deer, but by the end of the game, she's a battle-hardened warrior. I mean, of course there's a couple weird spots, like how at the beginning of the game she kills somebody and starts freaking out about it, and then a minute later she's killing people like it's going out of style. But overall, I think Crystal Dynamics did a great job with the character development. The overall story about the island, all the crazy people living there, and all the supernatural stuff is pretty good and will keep you engaged. It's not like it's full of plot twists or anything, but I don't want to spoil anything by saying too much. So, now let's talk about how the game plays. Tomb Raider sticks pretty close to what it was originally, a platformer with lots of shooting. The shooting in the game is done very well. And for the most part, this game is a cover shooter. And the cover system in this game is great. All you have to do is walk up to something and Lara will automatically duck behind it. There's no awkward cover button in this game. And while Lara only has 4 different types of weapons, they're all upgradable. All weapon upgrades are done at camps, which is also where you use your experience points to buy new skills. You earn experience points by killing enemies or hunting and killing local wildlife. And then there's the platforming. This game has lots of running and jumping, which all control great, and the climbing mechanics are also done very well. This game has lots and lots of scripted events. Things are always following and trying to kill Lara. While you're playing this, you can't help but be reminded by the Uncharted series, which itself was obviously inspired by Tomb Raider. While the two games are very similar, Tomb Raider has a lot more freedom, which is something I wish Uncharted had. The game has lots of open areas to explore, and then there's also the hidden tombs. While the game does have some puzzles in it, they're not really that hard, and most of the puzzle solving comes from the hidden tombs. But hey, what would a Tomb Raider game be without tombs in the first place? Tomb Raider is also filled with lots and lots of QuickTime events. But there are some cinematic moments where these QuickTime events really help build tension. Tomb Raider itself is a great looking game, and it's filled with lots of detail. Even though this game takes place on one small island, there's lots of variety. I found myself stopping lots of times in this game just to look around. Also, while you're playing, you start to notice that Lara's clothes are getting ripped up. And Lara herself looks great. And while there aren't too many of them, the CG cutscenes in the game look great. But most of the cutscenes are handled with the in-game engine, and as I've been saying, looks pretty damn good. I really enjoyed the voice work in this game. There were a lot of times I felt terrible for Lara because of how good the voice acting is. It's not just Lara though, the rest of the cast does a great job too. The music in the game also does a great job building up tension when it needs to. All of the music suits each part it was created for. Well, I've said pretty much nothing but great things about Tomb Raider. Do I have anything bad to say about it? Not really. Well, there is one thing. There's the game's multiplayer. The multiplayer really feels tacked on. It has all your standard deathmatch and capture the flag variants. But after playing a few matches online, I didn't really feel the need to go back and play anymore. The only reason I would go back to the online is to try to earn all the multiplayer trophies. But this game was good enough without the multiplayer. This game is great, and it has a lot of places to explore, as well as tons of collectibles. I can't really recommend this game any higher than I have been this whole review. So if by now you haven't picked up Tomb Raider, go do it! This is one hell of a ride and you won't want to miss it.